Hey, this is JJ the Urban Woodsman. Today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to build a fire step by step. First we're going to start out with selecting the right tinder and then going up from there into burning your wood, prepping your wood, and lighting the fire. The first thing when you're starting a fire is you always want a base, because if you're in a snow environment or the ground's wet, you want a dry surface to put your tinder on so it doesn't absorb the moisture out of the ground. So the first thing, most important, is a base. So when you're walking along the trail, you can find dry grass like this, and it's up in the air, so it's going to dry out quicker even if it rains. Just rake your fingers through, get all the dry stuff, and it'll pull out. The stuff that's still alive won't come off as easily. You got enough for a bird's nest. Alright, next you're going to be looking for twigs or sticks the size of pencil lead, and you want to make sure it's dead standing, and like this is like the right thickness you want, but it's still alive, and you know that by when you bend it, it bends in half, and they're still green on the inside. Alright, so I found this thorn bush, and hear that snap? You know it's good tinder. This is all pencil lead thickness size. You're gonna get about 2 to 3 handfuls of this stuff. And then you want to move up to pencil width size, so like the size of a pencil. And then you want to move up to finger and thumb size. And this is what's going to sustain your fire once you get it going. But it's very important that you start with your fine tinder, pencil lead, pencil width, and then thumb size tinder. Right here we're going to collect some fat wood, and I cut these branches off a couple of years ago. And the fat wood occurs when you have a dead piece of wood and the sap, usually closest to the trunk, accumulates on that dead piece of wood where the old branch was. So I'm just going to cut off this knob, and then we can carve some fat wood off of this. And as you can see, it's got like a wax on it, and that's all the sap that accumulated. So that's a good piece of fat wood. In the wild, when you're hiking, if you see a fallen pine tree, if you do the same thing, if you look where the nubs are on the trunk from where the branches are, right here, that's where the fat wood's gonna be. So I cut the nub off, and we're gonna harvest some fat wood off here. And all you do is you take your knife and you start basically like a feather stick. So as you can see, there's some actually wet sap in there still. But these little shavings, since they're drenched in the pine oil, which is what they make turpentine out of, will light up pretty quick. It's like an accelerant. So that's why I like to use it in the beginning stage of getting the fire going. You can add these shavings into the tinder bundle nest. It's gonna look like that. It's almost gonna look like honey has saturated this wood. I'll light this up with the fire steel just to show you how flammable it is. You can see that it takes off like a candle. So, if you're hiking where there's a lot of pine trees, this is your first go-to tinder to start a fire. Just gonna carve off some more fat wood for our bird's nest. Alright, next we're gonna get the bird's nest. And you can shape it like a bird's nest, and I like to do that. just so that I can put the fat wood in it, in the middle there. It also gives you a center point to where you're going to strike your ferro rod. And then you want to have your pencil lead size tinder on standby, along with your pencil thickness kindling ready to go. Alright, I'm going to use the knife and the fire steel for this method. Alright, we got the bird's nest with the fat wood. Here we go. I like to turn it on its side so it gets more of the grass exposed. And then you put your pencil lead size kindling over at the top. And once that starts to light at a 90-degree angle, I like to put the pencil thickness kindling over top. Just let that heat up and start combusting. And you don't want to smother it too fast because it's still in a fragile state, so you can slowly add the thumb size sticks in there. Some people like to do the TP. I like to do the Lincoln logs, where you put two and two perpendicular and keep stacking them that way. And what that does is it just lets air get in from the sides so that your fire can breathe. And then from there you just keep building your fuel source up to thicker and thicker sizes until you're up ready for logs. Alright, and thanks for watching the tutorial. At this point you can put your canteen cup in there and start boiling water if you have to purify water. That's the step method that I use. I get a base first, then I get your fine tinder, which is like grass and fat wood, especially if you like how I got the fat wood. Then you move up to the pencil lead thickness size, thickness size, and then eventually your thumb size. And then after that you just keep increasing the size of the wood fuel that you want to burn. But I hope you liked the tutorial. Like and subscribe. This is JJ, the Urban Woodsman.